So we're back, as always, with more gaming news, casually. Shorter list this week, considering we did news like 5 days ago. But shorter list, a couple big stories, a bunch of small chat picks, stuff like that. So let's jump into it. Let's start with our first thing, which is Steel Hunters, the game. That opens in the wrong monitor. Steel Hunters, the game, being shut down, I think in October. This came out. Oh, this game was released into early access like 3 months ago. This is Ed Nightingale in Eurogamer. I'm gonna do that. Okay. So live service mech shooter Steel Hunters will shut down in October, announced just 3 months after it entered early access. The free-to-play futuristic shooter was developed and published by Wargaming, known for its World of Tanks series, but after mixed reviews and an all-time concurrent peak of just 4,400 basically, it's now sunsetting. The statement on the blog post reads, "Today we share difficult news. We've made the decision to sunset Steel Hunters. You've given us so much passion and support, but unfortunately we've come to the conclusion that continuing development is not sustainable. We know this isn't the news anyone wanted to hear, and we genuinely share in your disappointment." So this game looked pretty cool. You know, running around, it's like, was this like an extraction shooter or something? I don't know. Or a battle royale. Where's the, let me bring up some gameplay real fast, because we have a little bit of extra time today. Bring up some gameplay of this game. So this is some gameplay. I don't know why it's choppy. It's not supposed to be choppy, but you're running around, you're looting, you're shooting other hunters. I think they're going to do a tournament before it sunsets fully. It looks nice. It looks pretty. Squad destroyed. So yeah, I guess it's like a battle royale kind of thing. And you're just mechs running around. I guess there just wasn't too much to the game. Unfortunate. Obviously layoffs. And we'll see. Yeah, farewell tournaments also planned with more details to follow. The free-to-play shooter from Chinese developer Amazing Season Games. Wait. Perhaps one reason for the closure of Steel Hunters is an inability to complete with mech rival Mecha Break. The free-to-play shooter from Amazing Season Games, peak of 300,000. Mecha Break did seem to break out more. It's funny even Draco said that, because that's what it says. So that's got to be what it is. It's got to be too much competition there. I guess we'll just we'll skip the big news, because there's one big news. We'll skip that for now and do the smaller ones first. Moving forward with Monster Hunter Wilds canceling a lecture about optimization. This is Akira Sakurai, Automaton. So apparently there was a planned, what was the convention? CDEC, Computer Entertainment Developers Conference, and there was a planned lecture for the developers to come and talk about optimization for the game, like settings and stuff like that, but then a bug in the latest update, or a bunch of bugs in the latest update, supposedly, allegedly forced them to cancel that because they were, I guess, embarrassed. But Capcom has announced the cancellation of a planned lecture on Monster Hunter Wilds optimization at Japan's CDEC 2025. The decision likely has to do with harassment and targeted threats its staff has been facing over Monster Hunter Wilds performance issues. Where is the thing about a session titled "Making Monster Hunter Wilds Run Smoothly. Everything you need to know about optimization has been canceled." Supposed to cover the technicalities of performance tuning using real-life examples from Monster Hunter Wilds development, with the engineers covering issues related to CPU, GPU, and memory load. They didn't officially specify the reason for the cancellation. It likely relates to recent backlash surrounding the game. On June 30th, Monster Hunter Wilds got its long-awaited free title update 2, which introduced new monsters Lagicarus and Sergius, along with gameplay and performance-related adjustments. However, following the update, players began reporting critical bugs, frame rate drops, and crashes afterwards. A patch was released on July 1st, but some players reported CPU usage spikes after installing the update. And they apologized for it. So egg on their face, talking about optimization and then releasing an update and then a patch that kind of breaks the game for a lot of players, which is unacceptable, obviously. Raise the background music just a little bit. Next, one of the top Switch emulator sites has been seized. This is Ethan Kotaku. So one of the biggest Nintendo Switch piracy sites around has been taken down by the FBI as part of a law enforcement operation on Thursday. NSW2U was one of the better known repositories for Switch ROMs online, allowing people to play games on hacked Switches or emulators on PC without legally purchasing the games themselves. The domain was been seized, warrant issued, it was still active, but a lot of the downloaded games within a few hours were missing. And then there was, Nintendo has been cracking down on Switch piracy over the last few years, including taking legal action against the makers of the popular Yuzu emulator last year that let players run Switch games on PC and PC gaming handhelds like Valve Steam Deck. They've also been pursuing litigation against smaller sites that host ROM downloads for older systems and the makers of third-party devices designed to help players circumvent Switch copyright protections. And then people that have been using like SD cards that are unauthorized that have these ROMs, they're getting bricked. Like they're getting virtually bricked. So Nintendo's really being Nintendo right now. Classic. Next, Sea of Thieves is going to be getting some private servers, which is pretty sick. This is Jordan Miller, VGC. So paid custom servers are coming to Sea of Thieves next year. Jordan Miller. Announced during the game's first community direct, Custom Seas, the game's private paid servers, will come to Sea of Thieves early 2026, according to Rare. They did not release a price or anything. They said it's probably going to be monthly because of all the stuff you'll be able to do. They're also going to release make it the theater or the cinematic camera usable in those servers as well. And you'll be able to like update or change the crew size, how much loot there is, the weather, the encounters and stuff like that. So a lot of customization will happen in these custom servers, which would be pretty fun. I think it might be a fun thing to jump into for a little bit, maybe for like a couple months, just to be able to chill in that game. Sometimes that game you play it and there's just no chill because, you know, pirates, they don't have chill, but that's pretty awesome. Even though, you know, a lot of layoffs happened at Rare recently. Who knows why? Next up, if you downloaded Call of Duty World War II for PC, get rid of it for now because it's being pulled. This is Matt Wales, Eurogamer. Paste. There we go. So Activision has pulled the PC Game Pass version of Call of Duty World War II offline while it investigates an unspecified issue some reports claim is a remote code execution exploit that's left some players grappling with app pop-ups, PC shutdowns, and even screens full of pornography. Oh my god. As to why this happened, Activision's official response is vague, only saying the game was brought offline while we investigate reports of an issue. However, there's evidence from the community that the newly released version of Call of Duty World War II may be vulnerable to remote code execution exploits, enabling an attacker to run malicious code on a player's PC. I did see a lot of people saying their desktops were being taken over by people just being able to access their PC through the game, which is pretty nuts because it's also like, are these people checking every single game that gets released on PC to see if they could do that? Is that what this is? Because how does someone find that they can access that? I don't understand. Cheaters, you know? Get them out of here. So if you have this installed, uninstall it, but definitely don't play it for now until this is fixed. There has been no update. This is as of like 2 days ago. So be careful playing your World War II games. All right, we'll do the big story before the chat picks. So the big story this week is Krafton versus Unknown Worlds. We talked last week about Unknown Worlds leadership being randomly let go or leaving the company, and there was no reason why. Now we kind of have an assumption why. So this is Jason Schreier, Bloomberg. I hope this link works. This link might not work. This is the gift link. So this is where it starts. So Krafton delays Subnautica 2 game ahead of $250 million payout. So South Korean video game publisher Krafton is delaying the release of highly anticipated survival game Subnautica 2 just months before it was due to pay a $250 million bonus to the development team, which is insane. Subnautica 2 being the second most wished for upcoming game on Steam. It was not... Okay, so in general, TLDR, Krafton purchased the developer, and they said... Where is it here? $250 million bonus was due to kick in if Unknown Worlds hit certain revenue targets by the end of 2025. That's this year, and is now July. According to the purchase agreement, which was reviewed by Bloomberg, by delaying Subnautica 2 into next year, the company is unlikely to hit those targets, and therefore the employees may not be eligible for the payout. Which sounds, corporate stuff, but apparently the plan was to divvy out that bonus to the team, like the developers and stuff like that. So the team was promised if they hit the goal, because of this company bonus, that everyone was going to receive like an insane amount of money, like tens of thousands up to millions of dollars in a bonus. And then all of a sudden we're getting closer, and Krafton says we're going to delay it to next year. How are they supposed to hit the target? It's suspicious, am I right? Not only that, Krafton did put out a statement. This is the official Krafton statement. I'll link this. But TLDR on this is Krafton is blaming the leadership that left, saying that they abandoned their responsibilities. Just all of a sudden they abandoned the responsibilities, and that now that they're gone, by the time the game comes out next year, the remaining team is going to crush it. They're going to just crush it. So Krafton's blaming those leaders that left that we talked about. Where is the list again? It's in here somewhere. Yeah, Krafton announced that it had fired Unknown Worlds founders Charlie Cleveland and Max McGuire, as well as Chief Executive Officer Ted Gill, which is insane. And Steve Papoutis took over the role. In a statement on social media several days later, Cleveland wrote that the events of this week have been quite a shock, and that Subnautica 2 was ready for early access release. So the founders are saying that Subnautica 2 is currently in a state where it could for sure be released by the end of the year, to be able to hit that goal, to get that bonus. But Krafton is saying, no, we want to make it better. We want to give you guys, the players, the best game possible, so we're going to delay it so we can make it better. So Krafton issued the statement that our 12 million fellow subnauts, the company said 90% of the $250 million payout was allocated to Unknown World's 3 senior leaders. Krafton accused the executives of abandoning their responsibilities in order to work on other projects, including a film, leading to delays for the game. We are deeply disappointed by the former leadership's conduct, and above all, we feel a profound betrayal by their failure to honor the trust placed in them by our fans. So Papoutis, the guy that took over, told employees that Krafton didn't believe Subnautica 2 was ready to be released this year, and that the delay was to add more content to the game. When asked whether Subnautica 2 was delayed so Krafton could avoid paying the $250 million bonus, Papoutis said he was not familiar with the specifics of the contract. It's a good question, and I would appreciate patience on this particular topic. He added, the specifics of the acquisition were beyond my current understanding at the moment. The desire of Krafton is to have the very best version of Subnautica 2 available for its early access. While yes, the software that everybody worked on is in a great spot, and it felt like, hey, we should launch this, that wasn't where both parties aligned around. And there is a small update, but a big small update. The leaders that were fired have now filed a lawsuit against Krafton for breach of contract. There's no actual story that I could find about that. It was just kind of like an update that I saw. So we don't know what the truth is, but it sounds fishy that Krafton would just randomly, after making this deal, just delay the game and get rid of the senior staff, the founders. When according to the founders and some of the people that worked there on condition of anonymity, they said everything was fine and they don't know what's going on. So we will see where this goes. Krafton did say in the statement that they do plan on following through with the bonus, but if they don't hit it, there's no reason that they have to, according to, so again, hopefully we see more of this. This is going to be very interesting moving forward, because like this could have huge implications. I wonder if they split, if Subnautica 2 gets bought out, or the Unknown Worlds gets bought out from Krafton at some point. But that's the big story. So it's a developing story. We'll see how it goes. Let's go to the chat picks again. Like I said, short news, which is awesome because that means short edit. Chat picks. There's Castle Crashers has DLC coming soon. This is Brad Norton, Dixerdo. So classic Xbox Live hit Castle Crashers getting new DLC 17 years later. This is so exciting. I don't think I ever finished this game. So when was there a date? Was there a date on this? 200 million sales. We received a lot of DLC. I don't think it was a lot of details about this. The Painter Boss Paradise update. Castle Crashers players will soon be able to play as Paint Jr. using artistic weapons to defeat enemies. Not only that, but every existing character and weapon is set to receive new artwork, but that's not far from the main selling point. What sets the new DLC apart is a character creator toolset. For the first time, Castle Crashers players can upload their own drawings, modeling their perfect hero as they see fit. This is awesome. Using a template that's already available, fans can design their dream Castle Crasher and even make their own weapon to go into battle with. Launch August 6th, so about a month from now. A whopping 6,161 days since the game first launched. And it'll be $4. That's super cheap. There is a caveat. As the new character creator tool relies on Steam Workshop, this DLC is exclusive to PC. At least for the time being, there's currently no indication of whether a console release may one day follow. Which is fine, that makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, everyone that owns the game at this point, I feel like the majority is going to be console users, so hopefully it comes out on console, but it makes sense that it's tied to Steam Workshop. It's basically a mod that they're launching in the DLC. So this is fun. Maybe when this comes out, some certain groups of people can do recordings in it. Next, we've got Pope Leo, the Pokemon Pope Leo. This is Tom Phillips, IGN. So it's just Pokemon fan, brings a Pop Leo card for the Pope to sign because it's Pope Leo. It's pretty funny. The signature is not great. They said the pen wasn't working very good. They also brought a holographic version to be blessed. And then who is the individual here? Reptile Cake, according to the Redditor Reptile Cake. And they were like, I'm never getting rid of these cards. These are going to be with me for all of eternity, which is so cool. So that's Pope Leo's signature on a Pope Leo card. That's so funny. Next, we all heard about the GameStop with the stapler and the broken switch. Well, now they're turning it into good PR by auctioning it off for kids. This is Jordan Midler, VGC. So now the GameStop has found the culprit stapler and the switch that was busted and is now auctioning them off. Is it the actual stapler? Who knows, because it's just a generic stapler. They're going to have to get the fingerprints on it to make sure it matches that employee that did the thing. But they're auctioning it off for charity. It's the Children's Miracle Network, so like Extra Life kind of thing. And as of right now, it's currently listed as the highest bid is $108,000, almost $109,000. $109,000 for a broken switch and a stapler. Thank God it's going to charity. What the heck? That's so much money. Huh? Is there the site for the... It is here. It's up to $250,000. It's in a box. Certificate of authenticity. It's got the staple. The staple's there too. $250,000? How many? 320 bids. When did it start? Does it say when it starts? Nope. Get out of here. Hey, if you have $1 million, you might be able to get this. Remnants of an Animaniacs game have been put together and kind of released. This is Rick Lane and PC Gamer. So they got a 90s developed Animaniacs Hollywood Hypnotics game. So it's basically like 98% done. There was some like texture stuff that wasn't right. Some of the sprites aren't right. But this is what it is. It's basically a full game that they found that was never released. And the game was actually canceled. It's pretty cool. I like the colors. I like the idea of this. Would have been fun at the time, probably. And I'm sure a lot of retro gamers are gonna be all about this. So this is cool. What's the company here? The Hidden Palace. They get a bunch of like unreleased pieces of games and try to piece them back together to make them playable. So they like get possession of it. They don't just like find them and release them. They like get the actual, I guess, rights to it. I don't know. And last chat pick. Everyone has to destroy their games. Everyone is legally obligated to destroy all of their games. This is Josh Coulson, the gamer. So Ubisoft is being called out for a clause people have discovered in its license agreement that orders owners of its games to destroy them should the studio choose to end service for those games. However, not only is this clause not new, as some people have implied, but Ubisoft is far from the only studio that has it in its license agreement. TLDR, in the terms and conditions for the games that you accept, it says, what's the actual quote here? It says it, upon termination for any reason, you must immediately uninstall the product and destroy all copies of the product in your possession, is the specific sentence that has gamers up in arms. It's not surprising. I don't know, people are so up in arms about it. Yeah, it sucks and it's dumb. There's really no way for them to enforce this kind of thing. So like, and it's not surprising. Of course they're gonna have some bullshit in terms and conditions that no one reads. But I don't know if anything's gonna actually change, because these companies are, as of right now, free to make games however they want, no matter what. So if they want to make a game that at some point they stop supporting and they can just turn it off so you can't play it anymore, that they're technically, legally are allowed to do that right now. If whether or not that changes for the better remains to be seen. But that's just how it is right now, and it's unfortunate. And that's, for the most part, it for the news stories. We go to Dev Dubs. Our last story, the Dev Dub. And does anyone have a guess of, does anyone want to guess which developer gets this week's Dev Dub? I'll give you a second. Ubisoft. Incorrect. That is incorrect. This week's Dev Dub goes to Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch for, they did their deep dive recently for Ghost of Yotei, and a lot of cool shit was announced. They're first releasing 2 different limited edition PS5s. Both look fucking awesome. This one is Victoria Phillips Kennedy at Eurogamer. There was like a 30, well, how long was this deep dive? Oh, that's just the PS5s. Where is, it's probably in the other one. There was like an hour-long state of play for Ghost of Yotei, but look at this. This looks so cool. They've got the gold one and then the black one. Let's check this trailer for the limited edition stuff here. There we go. It's so cool. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Available October 2nd, 2025. It's not only 2, I think, that you can get. I think you could just try to buy them. The black one looks cool. The gold one looks cool. I love it. Sony and developer Sucker Punch gave us a closer look at Ghost of Yotei, along with an overview of gameplay, different modes, weapons, and more. The team also revealed its custom PS5 and DualSense controllers, which are coming with newly announced Ghost of Yotei limited edition bundles. Rooted in traditional Japanese art, two designs to choose from: the PS5 console Ghost of Yotei Gold Limited Edition bundle and the Black Limited Edition bundle. Does it say a price? Inspired gold detailing running across the hardware, inspired by kintsugi, a traditional process to repair broken ceramics with lacquer and gold. I don't think there's a price. I bet it's gonna be like $600. They look so sick. The gold one looks so much better though. I really like the gold one. It looks awesome. I don't think there was a price. But this is not the only reason why they get the Dev Dub. In that same state of play, they announced that they're bringing back the black and white Kurosawa mode, but also 2 new modes, which are pretty sick. Oh, this is the full one here. And this is Blair Marnell, GameSpot. So, you know, this is the overview of it, but we'll just play the video here. We'll wait till it gets unstuck. Okay, maybe it wasn't that, maybe it was 20 minutes. But it starts here. So they bring back the black and white mode, which obviously always looks really dope. But I tried this a little bit with the Tsushima, and in small spurts it's cool. Sometimes it just gets too much. When you flip it back from that, when you flip it back from black and white to color, everything pops so much more. Your eyes readjust. But here's the
influential directors who have had an impact on the genre as a whole.
It's so...
First, we've partnered with Takeshi Miike, director of 13 Assassins.
13
a mode
Assassins.
that puts the camera closer during combat for a more intense, raw
It's so
experience, along with
sick.
increased mud and blood splatter.
More mud and blood. And then this one's...
And lastly,
this one's
we've
so cool.
partnered with the director of Samurai Champloo, Shinichiro Watanabe. Turn this mode on to listen to some original lo-fi tracks directed by Watanabe.
This is so hype and such a cool little addition. This is awesome. I'm gonna play a lot. I'm gonna do a lot of 100%ing with this mode on. 100%. This is so cool. Samurai Champloo is so good. Yeah. Look at the horses. So that's why Sucker Punch gets this week's dev dub. That's a lot of cool stuff that they announced for their... This game's gonna be big. This game's gonna be big. I can't wait for it to come out. I'm probably gonna get it day one and play it immediately, because I did 100% Ghost of Tsushima. And I think that's it. Yep, that's it for this week's gaming news. Casual gaming news. Like I said, short list this week, but we did go through some pretty important stuff. Thank you, everyone that hung out. Thanks to everyone that chatted during news. Make sure to check out the links for news. Thank you, AK, for the news, for the links, for the stuff. YouTube, Twitter, Discord, TikTok. And that's gonna be it for this week. Until next time, check out this video. Will probably go up Sunday. Probably go up Sunday, because it's a short edit, so it'll be quick. Last week was a little weird with the 4th and everything, so edits were a little delayed and obnoxious, but this week they'll be better. And that's gonna be it for me.